Hello everyone, I'm Manna. We've got Maru behind me there, and Arya and Loki down there playing, or at least they were. It might be nap time now. And today we're going to play some Bottom of the Well. I did play this once before, back in 2016, for Scaretober, or Spooktober, whatever I called it. I don't remember anything about it. I remember it being short. So, I was looking at visual novels that I have left in my Steam library that I haven't played yet. There aren't many left, so I'll probably, once I've knocked out all the visual novels, I'll probably just start going through every game that's in my library that I've never played before. So, I've got a lot of them. Hi, Maru. Hi. You need attention now. Now you need my attention. You weren't with me the last time I played this game. Ame was, though. I miss Ame. Okay. Alright. You guys are goofy. Okay, so it does take us to this. Alright. Okay, we'll go ahead and start a new game. Welcome to Bottom of the Well. This game is a visual novel, meaning it is a mainly text-based piece of interactive fiction. A book where you get to decide what happens next. It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure. Maru, you're sitting on my wrist. Goofy cat. Most of the gameplay consists of picking your choice from a selection of options, which will further the story. Bottom of the Well does have some gameplay aside from multiple choice, though, the most important of which is the kind of Alice, our protagonist, you are going to play. For your first playthrough, we recommend you use default Alice, but the customization is there to be used. I don't know what that means. Even if you complete the game, a different Alice might have a very different experience. If nothing else, you might just find a new way to die. Thank you for playing our game. Red Nettle Studio. Okay, I don't remember what I did. Oh, well, I see this is like a character sheet, so, you know what, I'm just gonna go with recommended since I don't remember playing this game. Maru, get your butt out of my face. You? Thank you. The default Alice is capable of finishing the game to its true ending, but not necessarily through all branches. This Alice is career-motivated, friendly, somewhat lazy, and a hopeless romantic with no survival skills at all. She makes up for it by being a good organizer. Oh, okay, so these dots don't actually mean anything. Got it. Sure. Okay. Boy, there's a lot happening. I wanted to read the Dream Diary text. Morning A. Morning. Did you catch the anniversary reading last night? No. Well, I tried, but I fell asleep. Listen, about that. You fell asleep? Oh, come on, Alice in Wonderland is like our favorite. Let me finish. Something happened. I was tuning in on my radio. You're such a Luddite. Luddite? Sure. Amazing I can even catch you online. Shut up. I'm not a Luddite. I just like analog things. Anyway, I was tuning into the broadcast, and I must have hit the AM switch or something, because suddenly the channel changed to something else. What? Aliens? Oh, government-run number stations? No. It was this weird, white noise at first. It's hard to explain why I was so drawn to it. I could hear snippets of some melody, maybe lyrics, but the signal was weak. So you turned it off and continued looking for the Alice broadcast? So I went out on my balcony and turned the antenna around until the signal came through clear. It now sounded more like music, with the odd signal in the background. When logic and proportion have fallen sloppily dead, and the White Knight is talking backwards, and the Red Queen's off with her head. Oh, so somebody's pirate radio broadcast of golden oldies? It felt like there was something else there. Some message that the music was hiding. I know it sounds weird, and then I fell asleep. What a story. No, hear me out. A dream. And I didn't know I was dreaming. You understand? It was entirely lucid, but like waking up in another world, except I didn't think of it as another world. Ugh, does this make any sense? You had a super lifelike dream where you didn't know you were dreaming, but you were still lucidly in control? Sounds pretty rad to me. I'm sure it would have been, except for the whole end of the world apocalypse bit in the dream. Okay, now you've got my attention. I don't remember, I remember the imagery, and that's it. I don't remember anything else about this game. Ow. So, like I said, it was the end of the world. Everything I did that day felt like the real thing. Every smell, every sound, every color, every touch. It's important you know that. I wasn't acting like I would in a dream. I didn't know it was a dream. Heavy. There was no warning, no build-up, nothing. Just between one moment and the next, the TV had turned to the emergency alert system, and this voice that sounded like it had been recorded in the 60s told us we were under attack. 8:59, Sunday, September 18th, cloudy. Okay. Were you alone? Yeah. I had had a really long day at the office, so I had sworn off all social contact for the evening. I had the TV on in the background just as noise. I do that frequently. Wait, what? The office? You mean you've got some kind of a real adult person job in this dream of yours? Yeah, actually. At the college. Student admissions office. Hey, don't sound so surprised. I am going to graduate in just a few months, you know. Uh-huh, with a BA in English Lit. Shut up. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting my bachelor's in English because then I could get a job as a proofreader like I want to. Because no one will take me because I don't have a degree. Lame. Such skill with words. Anyway, what happened next? Like I said, the TV suddenly turned to the emergency alert system. Jacked the volume all the way up, too. I didn't even know they could do that. The broadcast told us we were under attack right now, and that we needed to get to shelter, that we had less than 30 minutes before the bombs hit. Jesus, sounds scary. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I switched the channel, but they were all the same. And then the sirens started. Tornado sirens, flood sirens, I don't know. And I knew things were serious. So what did you do? Went online to find out what was going on, immediately tried to call Chess. Needed to think about my options. I really don't remember what I did the first time. I probably should have watched it, but I didn't. Immediately tried to call Chess. Chess? Who's that? My, boyfriend. I mean, I don't have a boyfriend, but in my dream I did. Wait up. Tell me more about this sudden new boyfriend of yours. I thought you weren't in the dating scene. Actually, I've been thinking about putting myself out there. Like, maybe some online dating or something? Although I'm kind of afraid to check OkCupid right now. What if there's a guy there named Chess? Good icebreaker. Hi, I'm Alice. I dreamed about you last night. You were my end-of-the-world buddy. Funny. Aren't I just? You were saying about Chess. What kind of name is that anyway? I wasn't, really. I mean, yeah, he was pretty hot, I guess? And smart? And into me? What more could you ask for? I can sense you blushing all the way over here. Maybe I should check my OkCupid profile, actually. So, what did your boyfriend think? Well, first I tried calling him, but all I got was a pre-recorded network busy message. But the net still worked, so I hit him up there. I mean, we did most of our communications in chat anyway. And I found him, but there was no time for, well, anything. I started typing, holy hell, what the fuck is going on style stuff, and he just tersely replied he had to go. That's a little blunt. He told me he needed to go get his sister. His sister? How come? Oh, hey, hello. He mentioned her a few times. She's disabled, but lives in a house by herself, out somewhere in the boroughs. Did he ask you to come too? He didn't ask. I did. I'm going to be outside of my apartment in 5 minutes, he said, then logged off. I guess that's an invitation of sorts. What did you do? Well, I knew that Chess wasn't going to wait for me. If I wanted to go with him, I had to go right away. Just grab my stuff and go. Making quick decisions in the spur of the moment. Doesn't sound like you. So what'd you do? Went to Chess. Help him with his sister. I swear to God, if this is the exact same thing I did in the first one, I'm so sorry. So I decided to go with Chess. I mean, how couldn't I? He clearly needed help. Altruistic. How long had you been dating? Cynic. Long enough to know my feelings were real. I mean, they felt real in the dream. Where did his sister live again? In a borough. Practically the suburbs, so pretty far. Jess said he usually takes the subway or a bus. Jess actually lived down the street, and we always had a customary place to meet. We didn't even need to confirm the place anymore, but it didn't seem very likely we would be able to catch a bus or the subway. So how were you planning on getting to the sister? In less than 30 minutes. Oh, spoiler, the bombs didn't start dropping on us within 30 minutes. It took longer than that. They did start, though. That's lucky. Yeah, well, it didn't mean we weren't in a hurry. But you didn't leave empty-handed, though, right? Oh, right, yeah. I grabbed the biggest bag I had, a backpack. People always called it magic. You could fit so much into it, bigger on the inside and all that. Oh, I want to take everything. What's this? I mean, we definitely need food. Oh, I can't take any more? Weird, because I feel like I have more space. No? Okay. Question mark? What was that? My miniature sleeping bag, always useful for sleepovers, but God knows how useful it'd be in an actual outdoors environment. Okay. Okay, I guess we're done, because it's not letting me put anything else in. Okay. Exit inventory. Go on. Burrow, sister, bombs incoming. How did you plan to get there in the chaos? Chaos. Yeah. The streets were nuts. Everything and everyone was going crazy. Crashes everywhere, but no one was responding. The street was completely gridlocked. I'm talking maybe 15 minutes after the first announcement here. All it takes is a few cars in the wrong place. Hi, Aria. Please don't walk on the keyboard. Oh, almost? Okay. Well, you only hit one button, and it wasn't important. But you live pretty centrally, right? It had to be better further out. Did Chess have a car? No. But if we wanted a car, there were tons around. People just left them, keys in the ignition, and ran. Holy shit. Really must have been a bedlam. It was. I was so scared. So, steal a car or walk? We discussed walking. It was like 14 miles or something. It'd probably take at least 4 or 5 hours on a good day. And this wasn't a good day. Maybe a good start, though. Things might clear up outside the downtown area. And you might be able to steal a car there. Appropriate a car. Stealing sounds so criminal. Whatever you say. Any other options except stealing? Appropriating a car and hoofing it? Something in between. I know a guy with a motorcycle. He really loves that motorcycle, but I wondered if maybe he'd be willing to borrow it. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're going to rescue a disabled woman. You know him well? Reasonably. I didn't know you knew how to drive a motorcycle. I'm a woman of many talents. So, what did you do? We decided to try with the motorcycle. The motorcycle seemed like a good idea at the time, except that when we arrived at his building, the first thing I saw was him outside prepping his ride together with a group of similarly attired, similarly equipped motorcycle guys. So much for borrowing a motorcycle then. Hey, what are you two doing up there? Yeah, you better play nice. Loki's ready for bed. To take a nap. Goofy cats. He recognized me when I approached. He looked pretty distracted, packing up the saddlebags on the motorcycle with all kinds of things, but he stopped for a second to talk. Hello, I see you're making your escape. Would you happen to have a spare slot in your escapo machine? He said he was headed towards the fallout shelter. When I asked him what he was talking about, he told me there's an old shelter down on 3rd, under the Rad Bar. Your old hangout. What are the odds? Anyway, he said he could take me, that he knew the owner of the place. Sounds like a good alternative. What did you think? Well, Tress immediately said no thanks. He looked at me. What'd you tell him? Let's go get your sister. I'm committed. So no daring escape into the sunset on your motorcycle with bombs going off behind you. What a pathetic excuse for a power fantasy this dream of yours is. I don't think it ever was a power fantasy, or necessarily fantasy at all. Anyway, I still had to make a choice, and I had already lost a lot of time. I mean, we can see if he has a spare motorcycle, maybe. The motorcycle seemed like a good idea at the time, except that when I arrived at his building... Oh, well, we already... Oh, I didn't read it all the way through. I don't know. Can I... No? Okay. Jess looked disappointed. I tried in vain to argue with him, but he left. Fuck. I fucking... Well, I fucked that up. Because I didn't read it all the way. Okay. Jess looked disappointed. I tried in vain to argue with him, but he left. Ray shrugged, and a few moments later... We were all packed up and off we went. The motorcycle was exactly as efficacious as I thought it would be, skimming past the stalled cars and even edging through masses of people. We made it to the fallout shelter in excellent time. So, I didn't think it was gonna... It did the same thing, but it did differently. I was hoping to ask for a spare motorcycle. I apologize if my microphone is picking up that noise. They're doing something out there. I don't know what, but it's loud, and I don't know if my microphone's picking it up. It doesn't look like it is, but it might be while I'm talking. I don't know. But I totally fucked that up, because I didn't read all of it thinking it was going to be the same thing, but then the answers were different. So... Oops. Why not ask for the motorcycle? I mean, he's not going to need it in the shelter, is he? They stashed them very carefully inside the garage of the Rad Bar, which was right next to the entrance to the fallout shelter. Ray had the key and locked it tight. He seemed pretty sure he'd get them back after whatever this was had blown over. Point being, no bikes for me. The door to the place was in a side alley where the trucks came to load. When we arrived, there was no one else waiting. He knocked, and a moment later, she opened. The bitch queen. The bitch queen? Isn't that a little harsh? Well, I didn't think of her like that at first, no. She saw him first, and she was just so happy. So that was my first experience of her. Just this happy redhead wrapping her arms around Ray, giggling and laughing. In her happiness, she let us all in, me included, without a hitch.
Doesn't sound very bitchy to me.
Oh, she showed her true colors when we got in. So, here's the thing. The place had the capacity for well over 100 people, but it was practically empty. You see, she was the self-appointed gatekeeper, keeping anyone and everyone she didn't like the look of outside. What the hell? At a time like this? What a bitch! Told you. Still, must have felt good to finally be safe. Was there anyone else there you knew? Yeah, I found a few familiar faces. It was good to sit down and talk with someone. Well, the peace didn't last. What happened? Soon after we arrived, the second group came. She started arguing with them, and I could immediately tell she wasn't planning on letting them in. I looked around, but no one else was saying anything. Ray was nowhere in sight. Yeah, I would. I would protest. Brave of you to speak up. What did you say? I tried appealing to her humanity and to her common sense. What else could I do? But she wouldn't listen. She kept repeating we were full to the people outside. Did you just let that stand? The look she gave me told me to fuck off right then and there. So you just backed down? I mean, there's only so much I can do. No, fuck her. Damn right. When I raised my voice at her, she just turned red. What was your approach? I tried pushing my way in between, but she just pushed me back. Then she called for Ray. Suddenly I found myself alone, surrounded by a whole bunch of rather unkind gentlemen. You bit off more than you could chew? You could say that. She gave me an ultimatum. Step the fuck down right now or leave. What did you do? Oh boy. I mean, a bomb shelter's our best shot at surviving. Like, you know, you can't survive out in the open. Like, I want to take what friends I have and leave, but I also want to survive, so I backed down. I didn't want to risk being thrown out. I know it's just a dream, but geez. What she was doing was just not right. I know, but I was afraid. I didn't want to be thrown out. I understand. Still, it boils my blood. Well, anyway, she and her friends closed the door and made sure it was kept closed. I really, really hope whoever was left outside actually left to find other shelter. Because when the bombs started to drop... yes. The bombs... We were all underground, down a set of stairs leading to the actual bunker. It was filled with barrels and barrels of beer and other drinks, but at least there was light for a while. So it actually happened. The nuclear war. Yeah. We had a radio with us, and we all sat clustered around it. At first, there were sporadic reports that the U.S. missile defense system was working, and that it was shooting down the incoming warheads. But then the signal turned off, and a few moments later, we felt the rumble. Holy shit, but you were okay? The shelter did what it was designed to do, yes. Although, at one point, there was a terrible sound just above, and the shelter was briefly filled with dust. I was pretty sure we were all dead. People were screaming, babies crying. The lights flickered and died. It was the end. Holy shit, your subconscious wasn't joking around. We subsided on candles and flashlights and waited for the radio to come back. It did, after a while. What did it say? Just about expected fallout patterns. It sounded very recorded, but I guess there had to be someone alive up there still clicking the buttons. But even that ended after a little while. Ash rain. Oh boy. Wow. Okay, so how long did you stay down there? Well, radio said there was a cloud of radioactive ash coming our way within 24 hours. And told everyone to stay inside until further notice. Then it died. So, I guess you stayed at least 24 hours then? Of course. The problem came when we tried to leave. What? Well, the shelter was underground, underneath a big trap door. And the house above, it had apparently collapsed on the trap door. We tried to open it, pushed and pushed, but it wouldn't budge. Damn, that's like a real nightmare, buried alive. Well, we had food down there for a while, and if we started drinking beer with our meals, we could probably stretch it out for weeks. Of course, then we'd all be kind of drunk all the time too, but what then? Maybe there'd be rescue? Maybe, but what if there wasn't? What did the others think? Ray and his queen wanted to sit tight and wait for help. A few of the others wanted to find an alternative way out, maybe through one of the ventilation shafts. A third option would be to keep working on the trapdoor. It opened out, but if we removed the hinges and got it to collapse inward, and then dug up through the debris, the radioactive debris. Anyway, people were getting very antsy, so it was time to make some kind of decision. What did you do? Staying put and waiting for rescue is the best option. Voted for working on the trapdoor. Opening up an alternative exit seemed the wisest, like a ventilation shaft. What did it matter what I wanted? I just sat back to see what the others did. Well, if it weren't for the fact that we didn't know it was a dream, if we knew it was a dream, this is the option I would go with. Because, like, I'm just going to people watch. I'm not in real danger here. But opening an alternative exit seems the wisest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you get your air from the ventilation shaft? Well, yes. So it was kind of risky to go messing with it, and we all knew that, but the trapdoor didn't feel like a good idea, and neither was just staying put, so it was a shot. So what did you find out? Well, I stood on the shoulders of some of the others and managed to dislodge the grate on one of the shafts in the roof. I shone a flashlight in and saw it was just barely big enough for one thin-shouldered person. Sounds like someone I know. Well, with a bit of help, they pushed me up into the shaft. It was tight, very tight, but I could just barely wiggle my way upwards. This was roughly the point I remembered I have a serious fear of enclosed spaces. Well, I understand. What if you got stuck? No one would be able to help you, especially if it was somewhere further up. Who knows if it even led to the surface? Or if it was unblocked up there. Risky. Yeah, I know. I definitely had some reservations. So, what did you do? Carried on with it and crawled into the shaft. I mean, we're already in. Great. It was that or remain stuck underground. Either way, I was going to die in the dark. Still, I think most people would prefer to delegate that. Or then hope for the best somewhere else. Hey, don't ask me. I did what I did in the dream because that's who I was in the dream. I don't think it was me, exactly. It was more like a future potential me, you know? Sure, I guess. Anyway, crawl space. How did you do? It was tight, and it got tighter fast. I felt like hyperventilating, but somehow I got my breathing under control. Flashlight helped a lot. I guess you didn't have a piece of mushroom that would make you smaller, did you? Ha! Very appropriate. No, I didn't. Anyway, somehow I managed to continue pushing myself up the sides of the tunnel. I got so tired, so fast. Every muscle in my body was burning. You can't have been that far underground, though. It must have been just a few dozen feet, right? Sure, but there were filters, and it was thin, and it went straight up, and yeah, it was not fun. The worst part was I didn't even have any proper tools with me, just whatever we had used to pry away the first cover. Claw hammer, I think. What was your strategy? Slow and steady, get through it as fast as possible. Just bash my way through it, anything that gets in my way. Slow and steady. It wasn't easy, and I really don't want to think about what would have happened if I hadn't kept my cool. It would have been so easy to just get stuck. But you didn't. I didn't. Somehow I found myself looking at sunlight, streaming in through a grate at the very top. At this point, I had removed about 5 active coal filters. So I knew that whatever else happened, their filtration system would be broken now. In other words, you had to get them out. Yes, except that wouldn't be as easy as that. Jesus, the way things looked up there. Yes? The whole building had collapsed on top of us. It was nothing but concrete and rebar and broken glass. Luckily, the ventilation shaft was on the street, and luckily nothing had fallen on it either. But the rest of the city was pretty much unrecognizable. So there really had been a nuclear war. I don't think that was ever in any doubt. Anyway, I had a bit of a breakdown, but then I got to business. I located the trapdoor soon enough. It was buried underneath a ton of rubble, but it actually didn't look so bad from up here. A concentrated effort from down below with some help from up here would see it cleared within a day, I was sure. What about the radiation? I don't know. We had waited for a while. Everything was covered in a layer of ash, but I had no idea if it was radioactive or not. So, what did you end up doing? Left them to their own devices. I had to dig them out. Figured it would be faster to dig them out if I found help first. We can't guarantee that anyone we find is going to help us. So, let's dig them out. The site was, like I said, a mess. I figured, though, that my first step would be to dig out enough of it to be able to bang on it. Let people know I had gotten out. Clever. Did they answer? Yes, excitedly and repeatedly. So, you started clearing it out on your end, and they started to try to break open the trapdoor so that they could help in their own way. How long did it take? It took longer than I would have wanted. I worked hard, and I think that inspired a lot of people down there, but I have a feeling the Bitch Queen was less than helpful. It took us 2 days of work, although more and more people joined in after the first crack of the light could be seen. Oh, is that our health? It must have been wonderful, though, to help dig out all those people. Were they grateful? Oh yes, although the Bitch Queen still held on to her fort. She said in no uncertain terms that she was staying right there, and that anyone who didn't want to wait for rescue was free to leave. Okay. And you? Were you free to stay? Not in a million years. She was adamant I left. Me specifically. Queen Bee syndrome. Well, I mean, even if you're waiting for rescue, you need to be able to access the outside world, you know, in case you need to go get supplies, you know. I haven't thought about the zombie apocalypse or anything extensively. There's a gnat in my coffee. now I'm sad. The others? The others crawled up after me. They'd do what I wanted. A few others joined as well, jumping camp. So what did you decide to do? It's time to leave town, all of us together. It was time to leave town, but I was doing it alone. I wanted to find out what happened to Chess. I wasn't going down without a fight. That fallout shelter was ours. I wanted to find out what happened to Chess, because I was fully intent on going with him, and then I fucked it up, so. So, going after Chess, where would you start? Simple. I knew where he'd gone to find his sister, and I knew where she lived. And where was that? Well, pretty far, actually. Out in the burrows. It'd take a while to walk, what with all public transportation out of order. As if you'd let something like that deter you. True, but it was pretty far, and I was alone. It would be dangerous. Did you reconsider? Well, why wouldn't people come with us? No, I wanted to find him, even if it was dangerous. Kinda. I decided to leave town, and maybe I'd bump into him. What did it look like? The streets? Awful. Ruined buildings everywhere. Charred by fire, most of them. We had to pick our way between cars and debris and bodies. There were so many bodies. It makes me sick just to think about it. Must have been pretty difficult to travel. Yeah, although it was oddly inconsistent. I think my building was the last one directly affected by the blast. About a block in the opposite direction, there were mainly intact buildings. As much as you could call them intact, I guess. Still standing. What about others? Were there any survivors on the street? Yeah, there were others. A lot of them were a lot worse off than me. Some were blind. Others were burned, broken, or in shock. There just wasn't anything I could do. Where was the government? I don't know. No one knew. I hadn't heard a single ambulance siren since the event. For all we knew, there was nothing left. Did you figure out where to go? I started coming across survivors soon enough. People like me, some with backpacks and some with just the clothes on their backs. It was absolutely wretched to see them. Some were staying put, but most were moving. Rumor had it there was an evacuation center set up at the college. What, like your college? Yeah. Talk about going back to where you started. Go on. How did it go? Pretty slow going, and even though I tried to keep out of the black rain, there wasn't all that much we could do. But at least we had a goal and others to help us get there. So it was real. The evacuation center? Not so fast. There was a slight obstacle still on the way. Oh, what's that? The river. There's a river? Not something I had thought about either. I didn't live anywhere near it, so whenever I crossed it, I just drove over it. But there it was, a geographical reality. So, I mean, the bridges were surely still there. True, but when we approached them, we realized they were occupied. Uh-oh. By whom? I'm not sure. I saw them from afar and kind of ducked into cover. I saw immediately they weren't good news. They had guns and were harassing the other people who'd come to the bridge. I think they were mugging them. Oh shit, I gotta go soon. Did they let anyone pass? Yeah, some. But I didn't know what the price was, or if they had some other criteria for letting people through. So what did you do? I decided to wait nearby and see what would happen. I went up to them and confronted them. There were other bridges across. I went downriver to find one. I don't want to be confrontational. Like, if they have guns, then there's a good chance that they're military. But also not. Ow. There are other bridges. I went downriver to find one. Am I able to save? Because, I am out of time, unfortunately. I started recording a little later than I had meant to. And I saw that my previous video was only like 27 minutes long, so I thought I would be done by now, but I'm not. So I'm going to call it here, and I'm going to hope that it saves. I can't imagine that it doesn't. So yeah, I'm going to call it here. I will see you guys later. When we come back, we're going to continue this story. I guess we'll have like a longer series with this. I only have one achievement from the first time I played it, so I might come back and play this quite a bit more because I am enjoying it. So yeah, I don't think I'm making the same choices that I made back then. So yeah, we will come back to this next time. Until then, I will see you guys later, and remember to do something nice for a stranger today. You just might save a life. Bye! Hello, everyone. I'm Manna. This is Maru. We got an Arya and a Loki over here, and Momo has decided she is not joining us this morning. She is off doing her own thing, and by own thing, I mean napping in Boyo's room. So, when we last left off, we were telling the Mad Hatter, our friend, who goes by the username Mad Hatter, or Mad H, that we had a very vivid dream that we thought was reality, about the end of the world. We initially left to help our boyfriend Chess, to rescue his sister. Didn't make it that far. Went to get a motorcycle and ended up misclicking and skipping some important dialogue and made a decision without knowing what the decision was, and ended up leaving Chess to go to a fallout shelter with the bikers. We survived the initial bombs falling. We escaped the bunker. We got everyone out of the bunker. And when we last left off, we were at a bridge. And we decided to not confront the people who were on the bridge, potentially mugging people. And that's all the further we got. I had hoped that there was a save. There's no manual save feature. And I had hoped, I went and Googled it to see if it saved at all. And it's like, oh yeah, it saves as you make decisions. I'm like, okay, cool. It does not. It does not. It's, there appears to be no save feature. There doesn't even appear to be an ability to load saves. So, there's that. It would seem this is a game that's intended to be played all the way through without stopping. Well, unfortunately, I had to stop. So, it is what it is. No, there is no gnat in my coffee at this time. God, that was disappointing. Okay, so we're going to jump back into it and see how we die this time. I did go back and watch the first one, but I will admit that I was cleaning while I was watching it, so I wasn't fully paying attention to it. I can definitely say I didn't make the same decisions again, so that's good. But, I can't remember what decisions I made, even though I watched it recently. My memory is shit some days, guys. Anyway, let's jump back into it. So, and what's to say the other bridges didn't have similar setups? Seems like a likely thing to do. And thus concluded, the end was right fucking there. Are you serious? And thus concluded my dream. Oh my God. Are you serious? The end was right fucking there. Oh my God. So if I would have just clicked like 2 more times, I would have... Oh my god. I'm so upset. You know what? I'm gonna cancel the upload I have scheduled because I'm recording this before the previous episode goes up. So I'm gonna cancel it, open the editing file, and just tack this fucking end to the end of that one, I guess. Because there's no point in making this a full video on its own. So, yeah. Yeah, remember to do something nice for a stranger today. I'll see you guys later. Remember to do something nice for a stranger today. You just might save a life. Like, you know, tell them to click 2 more fucking times and maybe they'll be at the end of the story they were trying to get to the end to. God damn it. I'll see you guys later. Love you. Bye.